on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio. Now, the one that basically put the game away, and it was the one that I said that just, weak glove hand. Remember that old ad for Nike skates? And what's the goalie doing behind the counter of a fast food restaurant? In the Blackhawks. Anyway, weak glove hand. There you go. This was the goal that really put it away early third period.
Here's a giveaway and a shot score. Dickinson, another one. High slot. Dallas has their biggest lead of the game. It's 5-2.
And after that, you knew the Predator. Okay, it's 3-2, and that's going to be it for them. Now, I was a little surprised yesterday that the Maple Leafs actually fell a bit short. The Boston Bruins were able to hold on to a third period lead, and they've got the slightly higher seed. They've got the second seed. The Leafs have the third. So they're going to go back to Boston and play it for one game for everything right here. Boston Bruins with a 3-2 victory. It also was on national TV. That one last night. What do we have here? I've got this thing, and it says, now this can't be right. No, this can't be right. I'm sorry, boy, I've got this. I'm saying, okay, let's give the highlights here. And the highlights, I'm like, wait a minute, this cannot be right. It says it's right. All right, let's see what we have right here. This is, what? I thought it was, okay, it was 4-2 as a final? That can't be right. I know it was 3-2 here. All right. But regardless, the Bruins win last night. We don't have the highlights of it, but you may have seen it on TV. What you may not have seen, however, was, and I'm really surprised about this, the San Jose Sharks tying up after being down 3-1 to the Golden Knights, last year's Western Conference champions, and this is how they did it.
Vegas on the power play to the Sharks line. Burns checking it, can't clear it. Kept in by Theodore, throws front of the net. Vlasic sends it ahead to Hurdle. He's shorthanded. He's moving in. He shoots. He scores! Tomas Hurdle wins in the second overtime with a shorthanded goal. A pile of players are surrounding Tomas Hurdle, but an equal amount coming over to Martin Jones, who made a record 58 saves. The Sharks force Game 7.
That was down 2 men, and a lot of people talking about a really soft goal given up by Marc-Andre Fleury. And over the course of his career, although, yeah, he has won a couple of, well, let's see here, he's won, been a part of, I suppose, 3 Stanley Cup champions, and has been a part of 5 teams that have gone to the Stanley Cup finals. There's always been the knock on him that, yeah, he'll allow the soft goal, and that one seemed to be it. Dan, this is just some of the marks on Twitter, the fans saying a double OT short-handed goal from Thomas Hurd to keep the Sharks season alive, force a Game 7. That's on Marc-Andre Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury gave up 2 trash goals tonight, and the Golden Knights lose in 2 overtimes to the Sharks. Both shots he's going low when shooter is 30 feet from the net. Neither goal happens when he stands tall, plays the angle, stand up, play the angle, back in with the shooter. That's the Marc-Andre Fleury that got benched for Thomas Voken in 2013. Yikes. So Fleury a bit up and down over his career. What else we got here? Andre Fleury out there getting played by his fellow goalie. You cannot give up that goal. Brutal. Again, let's see here. We also have, look, Marc-Andre Fleury would have gotten killed if he allowed that goal playing on the Penguins too. You really get the idea. Like I said, I can remember when he was in Pittsburgh, and when he left, they were, just almost throwing out the red carpet when Marc-Andre Fleury would come back. And the question is, although he had, due to longevity, all the Penguins' records, and it's a fine goalie, a lot of people are saying, look, that's why he's not a Hall of Fame goalie. It's a good one. He'll be remembered in the era. He's got his rings, but yeah, Bruins Mafia. There's a Twitter account. San Joe went about 10 minutes of play and even an intermission. They should have said San Jose, but they went San Joe. San Joe went about 10 minutes of play and even an intermission without getting a shot. First one after that spin caught Marc-Andre Fleury sleeping. Unbelievable series going to the distance. Game 7 on Tuesday. Well, those are two. The Bruins fans don't care who wins between the Golden Knights and the Sharks, let's face it. This guy, Tariq Anwan 00. Marc-Andre Fleury is literally the worst. There's the playoff OT, Marc-Andre Fleury. I remember. Yeah, I mean, they're just bashing a guy. Right? But then again, it was a really bad goal. So you think about Pekka Rinne tonight, and to my knowledge, no decision has been made, but even so. That wasn't the only, by the way, the Predators weren't the only local hockey team that gets money for playing that was disappointing on Saturday. The Ice Bears down in Knoxville lost their series to the Huntsville Havoc. I'm not big on the name Havoc, but nevertheless. Nolan Kaiser scored the game-winning goal in overtime. 10 minutes and 46 seconds. I'll be able to speak sooner or later. Of the overtime period, Huntsville Havoc won Game 2 of their SPHL, that's Southern Professional Hockey League semifinal series, over the Ice Bears 3-2 to win the series and advance to the President's Cup Finals. Huntsville, they'll want to defend their crown because they won the title last year. Havoc will face Birmingham next week. Knoxville is attempting to force a decisive Game 3 in pursuit of its 5th title. Let's see here. I mean, that didn't get a whole lot of attention around here, unfortunately. And you could say the Ice Bears are, very much a local team, if you will. To see what the Southern Professional Hockey League is not much. I mean, if you are looking at the AHL being the AAA level of the National Hockey League, certainly the ECHL is the AA, CPHL is the single A, and unless you're a goalie, you probably don't have a whole lot of chance of making the NHL one day. But, and even if you do, it's probably going to be as a fringe player. Still, that's the team we've got. And I just started mentioning that right there. Knoxville does have a very tremendous hockey history, what with the Ice Vols being the South's first college hockey team, 1966. The Knoxville Crusaders, starting play the same year Bristol Motor Speedway opened. And lest us not forget that the high schools in Knoxville, once upon a time, actually played high school hockey, and it wasn't a club sport, which is what those teams playing for the Predators Cup are. So you got to pay to play. It's club sport, that sort of thing. Anyway, in the early 70s, it was actually a varsity sport down there in Knoxville. So we're still late to the charge up here, but I'm hoping the Predators will get some momentum going. And like I said, I think there's some things that can be done. Obviously, the area needs a new arena, and I'm going to keep pushing that until it happens. And I'm just a man with a microphone, but I mean, it's just ridiculous that our city leaders decide they want to put good money in after bad, or even on just really small-time obsolete stuff. Freedom Hall, Appalachian League teams instead of AA teams. I mean, it's just... Let's be more cosmopolitan, please. 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 Anyway, so the Ice Bears taking the loss in the SPHL semifinals right there. The one thing I was going to get to you about, I'm telling you about the Bruins game, but let's see here. Was that actually, did I have this right? It was 4-2. They say it was 4-2. I could have sworn it was 5-2. All right. So it was 4-2. Let me go through this. We have we have the calls. I could have sworn it was 3-2. Anyhow, I may have been misreading my screen, but I could have, like I said, sworn. The Predators the Predators, listen to me, I'm so into them. The Maple Leafs actually had a 1-0 lead before the Bruins tied it up what with Brad Marchand getting the honors.
Run into the face-off left circle. They tie up. Marchand shoots. He scores! Freddie Anderson had it trickle off his left leg, and it just scooted over the line. A power play goal. Bruins won. Maple Leafs won.
And see, this was in Toronto, so it looked like it was going to be the chance for the Maple Leafs to, go on and advance in the series. A lot of people looked at them as a dark horse team to win the Stanley Cup, first time since the original 6 days. But it's not out of the realm of possibility, but the Bruins basically went on top to stay. In fact, not basically, they did, with this shot.
Circle now, Krug. High slot, Marchand. Far circle, Pastrnak. Had it on his backhand. Shoots. Krug shoots. He scores!
So that made it 2-1. This one was the clincher for Boston.
Anderson's off to the extra attacker. 2 minutes remaining in regulation. Back of the net, Chara. Fires it up the middle. Left side at center ice. Bruins get it out. Win a battle. Out at center ice. Fired. They score!
Thing was, this may have actually prevented you from seeing some of this action, was a fan's head. Anyone watched a game and a fan's head was in the way of the camera? And you'd think that NBC would be powerful enough to say, look, I mean, this guy, we've got to ask him to either to sit down or, we'll have to move him out of there. I mean, the TV camera and all that. But there was a fan's head which got in the way of the main camera angle so many times. Even the producer, I mean, what's going on there? Why is he saying take that shot, the fan's head? And so maybe that's why I got the score mixed up. I was so into watching the back of a Maple Leafs fan's head. I'm serious. This was here. I've got it on Facebook Live. This is the shot that many people saw while they were watching here. So here, what's up with the broadcast feed and angle? Fans head in the way the entire third period. There you go. All right. Thing about these playoff series, though, is that 3 of the 4 that have been decided, the only one the higher seed has won is the New York Islanders over the Penguins. And that was, the Penguins had the star power. Of course, I picked the Islanders, but that's, hey. We've got some baseball news. Daniel Norris is back on the bump and a lot of other stuff. Aaron Judge is on the DL. I'll be talking about all of it after this. Tri-City Sports Now.
It's a world-renowned